What's up? Welcome back into another video here on the FanTC YouTube page. Day 17 of our 45 days of mock drafts coming at you Tuesday, August 1st. So, officially into fantasy football season. I know a lot of drafts are going to be happening right at the end of August. So, if you have not taken part of any mock drafts yet, feel free to hop onto our YouTube page and look through the 17 that are out there available right now. There'll at least be one per day for the next, what are we at, like 28 more days now. So, be on
Oh
the
man,
lookout for
it's not
that.
even a month.
There we go. Yep. Yeah, we have less than a month until our fantasy football draft down at Lake of the Ozarks. So that's going to be a good time. For those who can't see on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, Eric Wagner from the FanTC Hockey podcast is joining me for this episode. Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, getting excited. It's coming down to it. My favorite sports are going to get going again in a little while here. We got hockey and football coming up. I'm getting juiced.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you. I cannot wait for the NFL to start. I am ready to have my Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays blocked off, and most Saturdays blocked off for
Oh
the
yeah.
next 4 to 6 months. Absolutely love it. So, all right. As you can see here, we're doing a 12-team league. It's going to be 6 point passing touchdown, half point per reception is the scoring format. Let's jump into these draft settings, draft order. We'll randomize it real quick. All right. I get the two. Eric gets the four. So kind of near each other. Make it a little bit interesting. How you like the four spot, Eric? You got any feelings about it?
I don't actually remember even where I drafted from in our other mocks, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like the four spot.
Yeah, the
You're
four
drafting
spot you get a
two.
stud off rips, so that helps you
Yeah,
out quite a bit,
I was
and
going to say
then you
that's
kind of get
like
to
the
build
last
around
spot.
that.
You're basically guaranteed a stud, pretty much.
Yeah, I like the top seven if you throw Travis Kelsey in there,
Yeah,
but
that's
the
fair.
top four definitely is the cream of the crop there. So, all right, let's jump into it. Justin Jefferson, number one. Nope, Christian McCaffrey. All right. Well, for me, either one or two is CMC and Justin Jefferson. So since CMC's gone, I'm going to go ahead and take Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
Tyreek
cool.
Hill goes three. Wow.
I don't even have to think about it. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I would love to get one of the Cup Jefferson or Chase, but or McCaffrey Jefferson or Chase, but I would have settled for Cooper Cup. I don't think I would have gone Tyreek if or somebody else for that matter. But
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think I am, well, as you remember from our quarterback episode, I'm a little in on Matthew Stafford. So I'm really in on Cooper Cup. I think he is the clear number three receiver to me, and then Tyreek Hill's number four. So I agree with you. I would have
that's yeah.
went Cup there too.
I think I'm gonna go with Jalen Waddle. I like to waddle like a penguin.
Yep, and that's also part of either when you go Chase or Tyreek Hill in the first round, it makes these second and third round picks tough because it eliminates Jalen Waddle and T Higgins as options for you almost, unless you're
Yeah,
really risky and go with both of them. So on this turn, I'm just going to play the ADP game because I'd be really happy with Justin Jefferson and T Higgins. So I'm going to go ahead and take my favorite running back that's left, and that's Tony Pollard.
that was actually the other guy I was considering. I was hoping he'd make it back to me.
Yeah, I love Tony Pollard. I think if you can get him around the 2-3 turn, that's an absolute steal in value. I mean, we'll see how the season plays out. I don't think in most drafts Jonathan Taylor is going to go as high as he's going to go in these where the AI is
Yeah,
taking
that's
him. So I think Pollard is going to get kind of pushed up more towards the middle of the second. But
yeah, it makes sense.
yeah, that's it. And then Derrick Henry. I mean, some people are going to think Derrick Henry's too old. Running backs tend to fall off once they hit the age he's at. So that gives you another reason to maybe go Pollard over Henry if you really, really trust in him. But like I said earlier, I'm going to go T. Higgins with my third round pick. I love Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins as my wide receiver core. I am stoked with that.
I'm gonna pick up a guy that you've been pretty high on all off season and get my RB1 Ramondre in the third.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. The Patriots keep bringing in running backs to try out, which I don't love as much, but the only one that really concerns me is Zeke because Zeke is
Yeah,
literally nothing more than just a goal line back. So he would probably just come in and immediately take that from Ramondre, which is a nightmare for your boy who's trying to keep him in our mini dynasty league.
all right. Now I'm gonna just be the homer that I am and take Justin Fields because I love him.
There you go. And I'm going to be the homer that I am and draft this guy yet again. I'm going Miles Sanders here. Love
Your
Miles
boy.
Sanders. Love Miles Sanders every single time. Um, and then for me, oh man, actually, I don't really know because I mean, D Hop would be pretty nice here to have. Um, if he can be a wide receiver one caliber, I saw some stats that kind of make me think that there could be a little bit of a fall off with him. Plus, he has Ryan Tannehill, which I think he's a pretty big downgrade from Kyler Murray as a passer. So I guess it
Yeah.
depends on your opinion there. DJ Moore, I'll let you pair him up with Fields if you want to. Not too worried about him. Pierce and Dobbins are interesting because always, I mean, I think a lot of fantasy people I see are talking about going zero RB and really just living and dying by the middle round guys. But I still think if you have a strong running back core, that's a fine way to build a team, especially when you can get Dobbins or Pierce in the fifth. I kind of like that value. But all that talking just to say I'm going George Kittle because fuck Eric in our tight ends episode. Just in case you didn't watch that one, go check that one out on the YouTube or the podcast because I thought I had a pretty good George Kittle argument that basically just got shut down. So Eric is up. J.K. Dobbins was the pick in between us. Eric, who are you thinking about here?
I was between J.K. Dobbins and Damon Pierce, but Team 3 made that choice for me. So,
Yeah, I think Ramondre and Damian Pierce is a pretty good running back core when you have Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle as your wide receiver duo. That's a pretty solid start. And then Justin Fields is the ultimate wild card at quarterback. I mean, he could rush for 150 yards any given week.
um, I was like, why is my phone buzzing so much? It's these fantasy notifications, the
Yeah,
sleeper notifications for this.
yep, I know.
I don't want to take Dalvin Cook, but I did kind of want to. I am going to go Christian Kirk here. I want another receiver, and I think Jacksonville is going to be pretty good.
Yep. I I actually really like that pick. I was hoping to get Christian Kirk at the 7.2. I was hoping he'd kind of fall a little bit further, but um oh, and then Rashad White goes to Wayne. That was who I was hoping to get was Rashad White, Christian Kirk in this 6th and 7th round. So I already got a tight end. I will say, Nick and I didn't talk about Darren Waller in our tight end disagreements. I think I'm going to rise up a little bit on Darren Waller. I think I have him at like 9 now. He should probably be in front of Evan Ingram because he can be the Giants' number one option if he is healthy. If he is healthy is the big question mark, but Evan Ingram's not going to be the number one option in Jacksonville. I think Calvin Ridley looks way too good right now for a guy who's been
Yeah.
out of football for almost 2 whole years. Okay, so this is a little bit of an interesting spot. I feel like Pollard and Sanders is a really safe running back room. You know, we know Zeke's not going back to Dallas, so I feel like Pollard's going to be, he's going to probably get 70 to 80% of the workload there. Sanders is probably getting 80 to 90% of the workload in Carolina, so I feel pretty safe there. I'm going to take a shot on a guy who's really boom or bust and go Javonte Williams here. If he is healthy and he's Denver's number one starter, you get Sean Payton's running back, which is super valuable. And then if it takes him a couple weeks to get going, I can kind of hold him because, I mean, right now I'm kind of drafting him to be kind of a flex level player, which I think he could be a lot better than that if he can find a way to stay healthy. And then just because he's falling all the way in the 7th and he's still yet to have less than 1,000 yards in the season, I'm going to go Mike Evans. I did also see a video, I believe on TikTok or Instagram, that was going over like a lot of bad passes from Tom Brady last year to Mike Evans. And not saying Baker Mayfield is going to complete those, but if he completes a couple more of those, Mike Evans is going to jump right back up into that relevancy he had a couple of years ago. So I think he could be a good value, or he could be a complete dud like he was for the majority of last season. But when he's a 7th-round pick, it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's definitely fair. Man, I was kind of hoping to get Mike Evans. The other guy I was going to take was Alvin Kamara, son of a bitch.
Ah,
I was like, where did he go? Ooh.
Alvin Kamara is actually meeting with Roger Goodell. This is coming out Tuesday. I think it'll be coming out he's going to be meeting the same day this is coming out. So we will see what that suspension ends up being for Kamara probably pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't want to go a tight end this early. I did like what you said about Waller having a chance to be the Giants' number one option, but I really don't trust that offense very much.
I mean, Daniel Jones' number one option has still never had more than 750 receiving yards in a season. So
Yeah, there you
being
go.
the Giants' number one receiving option isn't that, doesn't have that
That
much glory to it. It's just your average wide receiver has been the number one for the past few years. So,
all right. I'm gonna take patches.
yep, I don't blame you there. As long as he gets healthy by the start of the season, he's a pretty good value here in the seventh.
I was gonna
At
say
least
I don't
I
think he's having insane opportunity, but anytime you get a running back in an offense that scores that much, I think I'm gonna like it.
moves the ball that much too. You never know when he
Yeah.
can
Oh yeah.
can take get a touchdown or
He did definitely show off some good bursts last year too, some real breakaway potential.
yeah.
Michael Thomas. This dude has fucked me over so many times. And I still have faith in him, and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know if I would have taken him with this pick if he would have fallen to me, but I think similar to Mike Evans, similar to Brandon Cooks, who's in this area, um, really those three are kind of all similar to me as they can kind of reemerge as fantasy relevant wide receivers. I don't think that they are like their gas tank isn't completely empty. I just think they've had pretty bad situations in the past. Obviously, Mike Evans just last year, but Thomas the past couple of years with injuries and issues, and then Cooks last year being stuck in Houston did not help him. So I think that they're good shots to take this late. Like I like all those guys over taking the shot on Kadarius Toney. I
My
think
guy.
Treylon Burks is very risky just based on the Ryan Tannehill stats that I've looked up. So, I like Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Mike Evans. All can be fantasy relevant if things break their way. Touchdown luck, and half PPR if they can just be relevant that way. So I like all those guys. For me, I'm happy with Deshaun Watson or Tua. Team one doesn't have a quarterback yet, so I'm going to assume they're probably going to take one in one of these two picks. I don't really care which one I get. But I do really like Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis could be a fine wide receiver option, flex option for you, boom bust, very similar to Mike Evans. And if that is the case, then I'm perfectly fine with that, getting him in the eighth round. And then getting Tua in the ninth. Tua had a couple of really big fantasy weeks last year when he was healthy. Obviously, that's the big if. But with my ninth round pick, if he gets injured and I have to stream the quarterback position, I'm not that upset about it. So happy with
Definitely.
that 8-9 turn. What you thinking here, Eric?
Who is going to be the lead back in Philadelphia?
That is a great question. I think DeAndre Swift is getting drafted currently as if he's the RB1. Looks like Team 6 took him in the sixth round. Rashad Penny, I do believe, got the first snap at training camp. If you want to put any value into that, he took the first snap with the ones. Um, but right now
Interesting.
it's kind of a crapshoot. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough to.
all right. Then I'm going to bet on some rookie wide receivers outplaying their ADP, which has done me pretty well in the past, and go Zay Flowers.
Yeah, that's a good pick. All right, let's see. Your roster, you got the next pick. So quarterback, you got Justin Fields. You don't have a tight end yet. Wide receivers, Chase, Waddle, Kirk, Thomas, and Flowers. Jeez. Be pretty happy with that. Ramondre, Damian Pierce, and Pacheco as your running back core. So pretty solid start, to say the least.
I'm probably going to wait and pick up Cole Kmet late in this draft to toss with Fields just because they just gave him that contract.
That's a big boy contract, man.
Yeah, they better fucking throw him the
That's
ball. All I'm saying.
yeah. I did hear another stat. I've been listening to a lot of fantasy football stuff. I feel like I keep saying I heard this and heard that, but year 3 is the year tight ends typically make their big breakout if they are going to be a stud in the NFL. So it's a big contract to give a guy who hasn't done a whole lot through 2 years, but it seems like they, maybe kind of predicting what he does in the future. So Could be a nice fantasy steal.
I don't really like any of these running backs, but I do want another one. Damian Harris. Maybe I just feel like Buffalo's never really run the ball particularly much. Devin Singletary's in Houston now. Forgot about that.
Yep. Too bad Khalil Herbert went on the 10-11 turn down there by Team 12. I usually love
Yeah,
to
that
see
was one of the guys. Oh, there was a
running
big run
backs.
of them. Yeah, geez. 6 in a row there. I like Herbert a lot. Just I've seen him play a lot for the Bears, and he's been good. If he gets a lot of opportunity, I think he could have some pretty good upside this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
He,
gonna go with Damian Harris.
yeah, I don't blame you. I'm gonna have to do some very very similar and just kind of go and just take somebody. I'm gonna go Kendre Miller, the rookie from New Orleans. He's just one of those guys I know that I could probably either I'm gonna see something in the first week or two I like, or I feel like I could drop him, which
Drop
I'm
him.
happy
Yeah,
with. So I'm gonna be happy with that with the late round running back. And I think I'm gonna wait on my last running back for probably one of my last two picks. Here you got Odell. Odell's been looking somewhat decent at Ravens camp, according to reports. I just, if I'm drafting for a real league where money's on the line, I don't think I can draft a guy who I don't feel like can stay healthy. And I feel like OBJ is just, he is IR bound within the first 6 weeks if I had to bet on it. So,
his knees have
um,
just gotten torn to pieces.
yeah, absolutely. So my guy here, I mean, I'm going to try and draft him in a lot of drafts this year. I'm pretty high on Sky Moore. I think that year two wide receiver breakout with the Chiefs is potentially very high for him. Kadarius Toney is going to be a factor somewhat, maybe if he's there. And then after that, we're looking at rookie Rashee Rice. We're looking at MVS, who's never really been a relevant wide receiver, fantasy relevant wide receiver, even though he's had opportunity with both the Packers and the Chiefs. So I think Sky Moore could potentially break out this year.
I took another hometown kid too. I went Darnell Mooney, depth wide receiver. I think if Fields actually ends up throwing the ball a few times this year, he might have something to him.
I know. I can't believe he didn't go Cole Kmet though. I thought that was going
Did
to
he
be
get
the round of
stolen?
trouble.
I thought he
He
was going to
did.
drop another round.
Teammate snagged him up. Yep.
You're rough. I should have that round. I don't really need Mooney on my team. I have really good receivers.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the only thing you'll probably want to take back is going Komet instead of Mooney there. And the guy, oh no, the guy who took Komet. Yeah, the guy who took Komet as Travis Kelce. What a douche.
Yeah, he's just an asshole. Sam Laporta? Yeah, no thanks. Fuck you. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get another running back. I'm gonna go Raheem Mostert.
Oh, it's not a bad one to pick up this slate. Potential starter for the Miami Dolphins. Their offense is going to be probably pretty freaking good, so I would take that all day. Here I'm going to go running back as well because I need to build some depth. That's probably going to be the biggest weakness when I look at this team. And right now I'm looking at two rookies, both Roshan Johnson for the Bears or Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Eric, have you heard anything about Roshan Johnson? Has anything come up on your Bears feed? Anything at training camp?
Not really. It's definitely going to be running back by committee, but like from what I would think, I think he's going to be the third guy in that committee unless he does some pretty big stuff in the preseason.
Gotcha. Whereas I think Tank Bigsby is pretty much the solid number two right now in Jacksonville, just based on the news coming out there. So we're going to go Bigsby here. And then with our very last pick, one thing I've been doing a lot is when I don't get one of the top quarterbacks, I get a guy like Tua who could get injured, could get a concussion. That brings a lot of risk. I've been grabbing Kyler Murray in the last round of these drafts. if you're drafting this far out, which I guess we're kind of getting to the part where it's not too far out, but if you are drafting this early, it's still early. Then there's a chance he plays week 1. And if he's on the field, he's not playing for the first round pick. He's playing to win football games. So I think he could be sneakily good for fantasy if he can find a way to get healthy fast.
I'll take Gerald Everett, my tight end. I can stream that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
it's the last round. There's not much I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so to wrap it up here. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I definitely should have gone for Komet or any of the other tight ends that were left when I took Mooney there.
Yeah. All right, so Justin Fields, quarterback. I feel like you got, pretty high quarterback there, which does help you out. It makes streaming the tight end position a little bit easier because Justin Fields could basically erase the tight end difference with one play at the quarterback position. So you do have that kind of level of quarterback on your team, which is always nice. Running backs, Ramondre, Pierce, Pacheco, Harris, and Mostert. I think that Mostert pick in the second to last round really kind of solidified your running back depth. I was kind of worried about that going late, but Mostert's a nice running back to add because he can be fantasy relevant week 2. If there's an injury or Pacheco only gets 30% of snaps or something crazy like that happens, and Mostert looks good in week 1, you'd feel okay flexing him in week 2. So I don't mind that. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Christian Kirk, Michael Thomas, Zay Flowers, Darnell Mooney at the wide receiver position. I mean, again, I think you said you'd rather have Komet over Mooney. Don't blame you there, but pairing up Mooney with Fields, if Fields is throwing the ball more, we saw it 2 years ago when Mooney was getting opportunity. He was pretty good. So I know DJ Moore's there now. He's going to be the 2. We're going to see if Justin Fields can throw the ball well enough to make not only 2, but people think Cole Kmet's also going to be fantasy relevant. So it's 3 fantasy relevant passing options. We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of disappointing weeks there when you are trusting on Justin Fields, or he could make that step and throw for 4,000 passing yards like he promised a couple days ago. So we'll see.
My God.
Gerald Everett to round out your team at the tight end position. Like you said, you're okay with streaming it. How do you feel about this team overall? If this was your team, if we restarted our mini dynasty league and this is the first year, how do you feel about this team going into it?
I am in love with my wide receivers. If this was a dynasty league, I'd really like my running backs. They're all pretty solidly, my top 3 at least, are all young and pretty solidly secured in that top spot. So I would probably take this over my team, especially considering I have no draft picks in our upcoming draft this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we should do. Is we should do a mock draft, just an all AI mock draft, and then we just have to pick one of the rosters and just completely.
That would be fun.
Completely restart our league that way. No, I'm just kidding. I have Justin Jefferson, Saquon, Austin Eckler, and Ramondre. So
you're going to go ahead and say no to that? Weird.
Yeah. I'm actually trying. I have a trade that I think is pretty good. It's Saquon and a 6th round pick for Miles Sanders and a 2nd round pick. How if you were the Miles Sanders owner, how would you feel about that?
If I had picks, I would definitely do it. But I don't even have a second to trade. So.
Yeah.
But I would definitely feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think that's. I know the guy who has Miles Sanders definitely hasn't checked his app because I've messaged him a couple times also. So if you find your way to the podcast, hey, check your fucking app, please. But I would really love that trade, as I have drafted him a lot this year. Miles Sanders, I think, has a lot of upside, and then I would love to get a little bit more draft capital. I want to try and Saquon's the first guy. I think Eckler might be older, but I think Saquon. I'm just a little iffy about his situation. I think he can he has a really high name value, and he has a really high trade value right now, so I want to capitalize on it. But Miles Sanders got, a 4 or 5 year deal from the Panthers. He's going to be there for the next 2 to 3 years guaranteed. An additional second this year in a draft that I think there's going to be a lot of talent available in. So I'm hoping that I can get that one to go through, but we will have to see. Okay, my team, so we can wrap up this video. Quarterbacks Tua and Kyler Murray doubled up at the end to kind of get a little bit of protection there. Running backs, Tony Pollard, Miles Sanders, Javonte, Kendre Miller, Tank Bigsby. So similar to Eric, I was kind of concerned about my running back depth. If Javonte Williams is healthy week 1, I feel a little bit better about it, but it's
Yeah,
still kind
for
of
sure.
risky if he is still injured whatsoever. Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Gabe Davis, Sky Moore at my wide receiver position. Again, very top heavy there. Boom bust Mike Evans, boom bust Gabe Davis. Sky Moore, I have a lot of faith in, but I think overall, you're getting him in the 11th round. Very boom bust down there. And then my tight end, George Kittle, which if you haven't checked out the tight end disagreements episode, I think George Kittle is, if you are not paying up for Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, George Kittle should be the only other tight end that you're looking at just based on his ability to win you fantasy games. So I love grabbing him in the 5th. My concern would be my lack of running back depth outside of my top 2. If Javonte's still hurt,
Yeah.
you're kind of, when you grab rookies like Miller and Bigsby, there's a big chance they're just completely uninvolved for the first couple weeks, and you feel like you have to drop them, which is most likely going to be the case. So hopefully there's someone relevant that I'm okay picking up at the running back position. But if Javonte Williams is somehow healthy in week 1, I love my running back core is
Yeah.
very exciting. So it all just depends on health. Drafting this far out, we still don't know. But Eric, do you have any comments on my teams? Team?
No, I like your draft too. I think you did a good
Cool.
job. I like Javante. I think even if he's not healthy for week 1, you got other flex options. But when he comes back and he is healthy, I think he's going to be a good option.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. All right, well, that'll wrap up day 17. And thank you, Eric, for joining me. Thank you all for tuning in. Day 18 will be up on Wednesday. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.